Ladies and gentlemen, before we even think about drills, paint, or shelves, let us pause and reflect on the spaces we call home. Across America, and indeed across the world, our homes are far more than bricks, walls, and roofs. They are living reflections of our journeys, our dreams, and the memories we hold dear. They are the theaters of our laughter, the shelters of our solitude, and the canvas on which we express our individuality. Yet, in the rush of modern life, it's easy to forget that these spaces, our homes, can be shaped and transformed by our own hands. We live in an era dominated by speed, convenience, and outsourcing. If something breaks, we call someone. If a room feels stale, we hire a professional. And in doing so, we often miss an opportunity. The opportunity to connect deeply with our surroundings, to create something that is undeniably ours, and to discover the profound joy that comes from building, crafting, and transforming. Today, I invite you on a journey of creativity, courage, and transformation. It is a journey that will take us into the world of DIY home improvement, not just as a practical skill, but as a powerful metaphor for life itself. Because when we learn to take a hammer in our hands, when we learn to paint a wall with intention, when we learn to assemble, repair, and innovate, we are not just improving our homes. We are cultivating patience, creativity, problem-solving, confidence, and resilience, the very qualities that define who we are. So let us embark together. Let us explore the extraordinary power that lies in ordinary tools. Let us rediscover the thrill of shaping our own environments. And let us remember that every brushstroke, every nail hammered, every project completed is not just an act of home improvement, it is an act of self-improvement, of courage, and of joy. Ladies and gentlemen, take a moment and think about your home. Not just the walls, the roof, or the furniture, but the feeling, the warmth, the memories, the sense of identity it gives you. Because a home is not just a place, it is a reflection of who you are. Now imagine this. What if you had the power to shape that reflection with your own hands? What if instead of waiting for someone else to fix, improve, or transform your space, you became the creator? That's what DIY, do-it-yourself, is all about. It's not just about tools, paint, or wood. It's about ownership. It's about creativity. It's about courage. And most importantly, it's about transformation, not just of your home, but of yourself. Today, I want to take you on a journey into the world of DIY home improvement projects. And by the end of this talk, I hope you won't just feel inspired. I hope you'll feel unstoppable. Part 1, why DIY matters more than ever. We live in a world where everything is fast, convenient, and outsourced. Need something fixed? Call someone. Want something built? Hire someone. Need a change? Pay for it. And while there's nothing wrong with that, something gets lost in the process. We lose connection. Connection to our space, connection to our effort, connection to the satisfaction of saying, I did this. DIY brings that back. In a time where life feels increasingly digital and distant, DIY is physical. It's real. It's tangible. You can see it. You can touch it. You can stand back and say, that wall, I painted it. That shelf, I built it. That space, I transformed it. And that feeling is priceless. Part 2, breaking the fear barrier. Let's be honest, most people don't start DIY projects for one simple reason: fear. What if I mess it up? I'm not skilled enough. I don't have the right tools. What if it looks worse than before? But here's the truth. Every expert you admire started exactly where you are: confused, unsure, hesitant. The difference? They started anyway. DIY is not about perfection. It's about progress. That slightly uneven paint line? It's a lesson. That crooked shelf? It's experience. That failed project, it's growth. And every single mistake brings you closer to mastery. So don't wait to be ready. Start messy, start unsure, just start. Part 3, the power of small projects. You don't need to renovate your entire house to begin your DIY journey. In fact, the most powerful transformations often start small. A fresh coat of paint in a tired room, new handles on old cabinets, a handmade shelf in an empty corner, a reorganized closet that finally makes sense. Small projects build confidence. They show you what's possible. And most importantly, they create momentum. Because once you complete one project, something shifts inside you. You stop thinking, can I do this? And you start thinking, what's next? Part 4, DIY as self-expression. Your home should tell your story, not a catalog story, not a trend story, not someone else's idea of what's in style. Your story. DIY allows you to create a space that reflects your personality, your culture, your memories, and your dreams. Maybe it's a wall filled with photos you printed and framed yourself. Maybe it's furniture you restored instead of replacing. Maybe it's colors that make you feel alive, even if they break every design rule. That's the beauty of DIY. There are no rules, only expression. Part 5, the financial freedom of DIY. Let's talk about something practical, money. Home improvement can be expensive, very expensive, but DIY changes the equation. Instead of paying for labor, you invest your time. Instead of replacing everything, you upgrade what you already have. Instead of spending thousands, you create something meaningful for a fraction of the cost. But here's the deeper truth. DIY doesn't just save money. It builds value. Not just in your home, but in your skills. And skills are assets no one can take away from you. Part 6. Learning in the age of information. There has never been a better time in history to start DIY projects. Why? Because knowledge is everywhere. Step-by-step tutorials, video guides, communities of people sharing their experiences, free resources at your fingertips. You don't need to be born handy. You can learn at your pace, in your time, on your terms. And every project you complete adds to your knowledge. You're not just improving your home, you're upgrading yourself. Part 7, the emotional reward. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt truly proud of something you created with your own hands? Not bought, not ordered, not outsourced, created. DIY brings back that feeling. The moment you step back and look at your work, you feel it. Pride, satisfaction, confidence. And that confidence doesn't stay in your home. It follows you into every part of your life. Part 8, DIY brings people together. DIY is not just a soul journey. It can be shared. With family, with friends, with your community. Working on a project together creates memories, it creates laughter, it creates bonding. It creates stories you'll tell for years. A simple weekend project can become a lifelong memory. Part 9, sustainability and responsibility. In a world facing environmental challenges, DIY offers a powerful solution. Instead of throwing things away, you repair them. Instead of buying new, you repurpose. Instead of wasting, you create. DIY teaches responsibility. It teaches respect for materials, for effort, and for the environment. And in doing so, it helps build a more sustainable future. Part 10, from projects to mindset. At some point, DIY stops being something you do and becomes part of who you are. You start seeing possibilities everywhere. That broken chair, fixable. That empty wall, transformable. That outdated space, full of potential. You stop waiting for change. You create it. And that mindset is powerful because it doesn't just apply to your home. It applies to your life. Par 11, the joy of discovery. DIY is a journey of discovery. Every time you pick up a new tool, try a new technique, or experiment with a fresh idea, you uncover something about yourself. You discover patience you didn't know you had. You discover creativity you never tapped into. You discover resilience when mistakes happen. DIY turns ordinary spaces into classrooms of life, and every project becomes a lesson you carry forward. Part 12, creativity without limits. One of the most exciting things about DIY is that there are no limits. Your imagination sets the rules, not a manual. Want a bookshelf shaped like a tree? Go for it. Want a wall painted with colors that defy trends? Absolutely. Want to turn old pallets into modern furniture? Yes, you can. DIY is about letting go of perfection and embracing possibility. It's about creating what feels right for you, not what looks right for someone else. Part 13, overcoming setbacks. Not every DIY project goes smoothly. Sometimes the paint drips. Sometimes the measurements are off. Sometimes your easy weekend project becomes a multi-day challenge. But setbacks are not failures. They are stepping stones. Every problem you solve adds skill. Every mistake you fix adds confidence. Every challenge you overcome strengthens your resolve. DIY teaches resilience in the home and in life. Part 14, DIY as a family tradition. DIY can become a tradition that unites generations. Imagine teaching your children to build a simple table, hang a picture, or paint a room. It's more than work. It's teaching values. Patience, responsibility, pride in effort, and joy in creating. And one day, those children will carry those lessons into their own homes. The legacy of DIY becomes more than a project. It becomes a heritage. Part 15, transforming your community. DIY doesn't have to stop at your front door. neighborhood gardens, community benches, public murals. Small improvements in your home can inspire bigger improvements in your surroundings. When you invest effort into your space, you naturally encourage others to do the same. DIY creates ripples, and those ripples can strengthen communities, spark creativity, and improve lives. Part 16, Health and Well-Being. DIY isn't just about beauty or utility, it's about well-being. Physical activity, even in simple projects, improves fitness. Creative engagement reduces stress and anxiety. The satisfaction of completing a task improves mental health. Your home becomes a sanctuary that nurtures your mind, body, and spirit, and each project reinforces a sense of accomplishment and purpose that money can't buy. Part 17, Planning for the Future. Successful DIY projects don't happen by chance, they happen with planning. Identify what your home truly needs. Start with small, manageable steps. Research techniques and tools. Set goals and timelines. Planning transforms DIY from a hobby into a powerful tool for long-term improvement. And when you plan carefully, the rewards multiply. Less frustration, better results, and a home that grows with you. Part 18, Inspiring Others. Finally, your DIY journey is never just for you. When others see your projects, they get inspired. Your courage, creativity, and determination become a beacon. A neighbor may pick up a hammer for the first time because they saw your bookshelf. A friend may repaint their living room because they felt your pride. Even your children may embrace the idea that they can create, fix, and transform. By pursuing DIY, you don't just improve your home. You inspire a culture of action, imagination, and self-reliance. Build more than just a home. So today, I leave you with this. DIY home improvement projects are not just about tools, materials, or design. They are about something much deeper. They are about taking control, embracing creativity, building confidence, creating meaning. Your home is more than a structure. It's your space, your story, your canvas, and you have the power to shape it. So pick up that brush, grab that tool, start that project you've been putting off. Because when you build your home with your own hands, you're not just building a better space, you're building a better version of yourself. As we come to the close of this discussion, I want us to take a step back and look at the bigger picture. DIY home improvement is more than a set of techniques, tools, and projects. It is a philosophy, a way of approaching life. It teaches us that transformation is possible, that we are capable of more than we often give ourselves credit for, and that progress, no matter how small, is always worth celebrating. Imagine your home not as a static space, but as a living, breathing canvas that evolves with your hands, your creativity, and your vision. Imagine the sense of pride in saying, I built this, I created this, I transformed this. Imagine the lessons learned from every mistake, every setback, and every triumph being carried forward into every aspect of your life. Beyond the walls and floors, beyond the paint and shelves, DIY invites us to embrace courage. It invites us to experiment, to fail, and to succeed. It reminds us that the tools we hold in our hands are also tools for building confidence, resilience, and purpose. It shows us that creativity is limitless, that community can be strengthened, and that joy can be found not just in the results, but in the process itself. So I challenge each of you, not just to pick up a brush or a hammer, but to embrace the spirit of DIY in every aspect of your life. Transform your home, and in doing so, transform yourself. Let every project, every effort, and every act of creation remind you that you are capable, that you are resourceful, and that the power to shape your environment and your destiny resides firmly in your hands. Because at the end of the day, DIY is not just about making homes better. It is about making lives better, one project, one idea, and one inspired moment at a time. Thank you, and let's start building.